So there's an important aspect when it comes to filmmaking that you need to really consider and really take into deep interest and learn and just try to understand what kind of narrative you're working on. And this important aspect I'm going to talk about is research. Why is research very important when it comes to filmmaking? Whether you are working on a short film, whether you're working on a feature film, whether you're working on a documentary, or whether you're working on even interviews or maybe podcasts or just videos like feature videos. Yes, it's very important to do your research. And this research cuts across a lot of things. It cuts across things to do with markets, it cuts across things to do with stories, cultures, and even the just basically way of life. And whatever you want to portray is something that needs to be very authentic, and something that really is able to paint a very real picture to the society when it comes to that particular narrative or that particular story you're telling. So here I'm going to share some of the things of why research is very important, especially now when it comes to filmmaking, whether you're doing that narrative or maybe documentary. So number one, research helps in authenticity, building up authenticity, because authenticity matters when it comes to storytelling. This is whereby research will help you portray those characters, worlds, cultures in a very realistic manner and in a very accurate way. For example, I'm writing a story, and the story I'm writing, or whatever I want to showcase, or the story I want to tell through whichever form of story I want to do, whichever form of film I want to do, I will have to do my research properly. This is in terms of, I need to understand, is my story based in Dubai? Is my story based in Saudi Arabia? Is my story based in Kenya? Is my story based in Nigeria? Is my story based in Congo? And what are the cultures there? Even if it's a fictional story, what are some of the cultures in these areas? If I'm doing a story na mimi niko based in Nakuru and I want to tell a story of how Mombasa people behave, I need to do my proper research so that I don't put my story in a way that maybe the language, the costumes, and the props that I'm going to use in that particular movie doesn't fit the community that I want to represent in that particular story. So research is very important, and it helps now portray the accuracy of cultures and worlds in your film. Okay? Number two, research helps develop better characters and better story. So you have a character you want to portray, and for instance, this is moments whereby you have a story you're writing and your protagonist is coming from a culture where it is perceived that these people from this culture behave in a certain manner. So how do you build up your character coming up from a different culture, fitting into with people from other cultures to tell a story? Okay, so with research, it will help you portray those characters in a very preferred and accurate manner, and you will be able to build up the characters in a proper and very engaging way in your film or that documentary or that narrative that you're telling. Okay, so research helps you to build better characters and very good storytelling through those characters, because it is the characters we see in movies that tell us the story. It is not all about the story only, but it is the character that pushes the story forward. And when the characters are well represented from your research, you will understand that these characters are well represented and they are accurately portraying that particular culture or that particular society or that particular theme that needs to be addressed by them in that particular story. Then the other thing that you need to also just understand why research is very important is it boosts your confidence and creativity. Look at it this way, that whatever you are writing, you can be able to present it to anyone and they will be able to relate. If you're writing a love story, people in marriage, and you're presenting it to an audience who are married, they will be able to relate to the story, and you'll have the confidence and even more creativity to build up your story, because you have done research and you understand how this particular set of group of community of maybe set of people behave. So your confidence and even creativity will be boosted, because the kind of research you're doing, it is portraying those particular the story in a manner that is very accurate to that particular audience that you're taking your story, or you're interested to tell your story to. Okay? Then, last but not least, it saves you time and money. Look at it in this manner. Because you do research and you want to tell a story from maybe the Ma culture, and you want to understand, like, these people in the Ma culture behave in a certain way, or maybe there is a costume they dress in. So when you do research, when you go to the Ma culture and do research and understand how those people behave, it will help you when you are setting up your crew, or maybe when you are coming up with the type of costumes, the type of props. You will be able to find the correct and accurate props to use to tell your story, rather than just writing an idea and then going into shooting and then finding out that, oh, whatever prop you're supposed to use to tell this story, you don't have them because you didn't do proper research. You thought maybe the props that are being used by the Luya people is the props that will be used by the Ma culture to tell the same story. So you see, for instance, in Luya we have cows, yes, and in Ma culture they have cows. The way they perceive and view cows in Ma culture is different from the way we will see cows in the Luya culture. So those cultures, they can have a similar thing, but the way it is used is super different. Okay, so when you do research, you won't be able to assume. You think that maybe cows are viewed as a symbol of wealth in this particular culture, and in another culture, cows are viewed as God. Yes, so it is very important when you do research, so that you don't put some people in jeopardy, or maybe you put some stories in jeopardy trying to just tell stories, yet you haven't done research about it. And last but not least, when you talk about research, it's important also to just understand whatever you're doing a feature film, you're doing a documentary, you're doing a short film, or maybe you're doing that podcast, or maybe you're doing a vlog. Try to understand also, research on the market, where you're going to take your story to. Do these people understand what you're doing? And stuff like that. So also, research helps you before you build up that particular project you're working on. Do you have an understanding where you're taking this project? Because also myself, I find myself in this position whereby I have to research and understand the audiences, you guys who are watching. What do you love? What do you appreciate? And sometimes I have to go around with questionnaires and just ask around with people, what do you think of my show? Is it bringing you adequate information, or do you need more from me, or what can I do better to just be able to address you, because you are my audience? Yeah, so research is quite an important aspect when it comes to production, and most of us, we assume it, but I'll urge you guys, let's not assume it, and let's embrace research on any small thing, on any big thing that we intend to do. Let's embrace research. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Until the next episode, keep tuned, stay tuned, and subscribe if you haven't. And let's continue learning, and let's continue developing films and growing stories, telling stories to the world. Until next time, cheers.